Winnie the Pooh and Star Wars 2. One morning, Winnie the Pooh was on his way to visit his friend Piglet. As he walked through the woods, when he went and saw his other friend Yoda and said hello. And Yoda, there's Yoda, said hello back. Pooh did not look where he was going. Tigger, who had been chatting with Obi-Wan, bounced over to Pooh and knocked him over, because Pooh and Obi-Wan are big friends. And see how Pooh looks like, or Obi-Wan looks like Jeremy there. Tigger helped Pooh up. Thank you, Tigger. I was just thinking it was a fine day to go visit Piglet. Pooh's friend, the stormtrooper, agreed that Tigger wasn't the Piglet he was looking for. And there's the stormtrooper that was just happened to be hanging out in the woods right then. Tigger bounced on ahead of Pooh. He bounced so fast that he bounced over young Anakin. And then he bounced into Piglet. There he is, and there's young Anakin. Tigger, cried Piglet, you scared me. I'm sorry, Tigger said, as he helped Piglet get up. Now I'm off to see Rabbit, said Piglet. Why don't you come with me? And Han Solo showed him how to get there in only 12 parsecs. Tigger bounced into Rabbit's garden where he was visiting with Princess Leia. Tigger was so excited to see them both that Rabbit knocked them over. Tigger, you're a pest, cried Rabbit. And there's Princess Leia visiting with Rabbit. Pooh walked right in to C-3PO, who said, greetings, and they both helped Rabbit get up. Tigger, why are you so bouncy? And it doesn't look like 3PO's helping him a lot there, but he's helping him, mentally, and that's important. Luke was helping to cut cabbage with his lightsaber. Oh, there he is. Just as Tigger went by, and he went singing and dancing all around. The wonderful thing about Jedis is Jedis are wonderful things. They have some cool lightsabers. They love to dance and sing. They're bouncy, flouncy, trouncy, pouncy, full of fun, fun, fun. The most wonderful thing about Jedis is Luke's the final one. And by this time, Tigger bounced away, and Rabbit's whole garden was ruined. Later that day, Rabbit called everyone, including Darth Vader, to talk about, and there's Darth as part of the group there, how they could help Tigger not bounce so much. Darth Vader breathed hard and said he was disappointed that Tigger would bounce so much. Pooh fell asleep, and then Piglet woke him up and told him about helping Tigger to harness his force powers and levitate. And you can see right there, he's showing him that that might be a good idea to try to levitate. That very day, Rabbit, Pooh, Piglet, and R2-D2 went to take Tigger into the woods. When you come back to get Tigger, his bounces will be gone because he won't want to bounce anymore after being able to levitate. And R2 said, beep, boop, beep. Because if you can levitate, why would you, bother bouncing? Rabbit, Obi-Wan, and Piglet, along with Pooh, hid in a log, while Tigger looked all over the place. He even stood on top of the log, but he couldn't find them. Tigger called and called. They must be lost, he said, and he bounced away to find them. And there they are, all hiding in the log. Obi-Wan's about to get in the log, but then he did later. As soon as Tigger was out of sight, C-3PO suggested that they go back home. And they all wondered where the sandpit came from, and they had not recognized it. And C-3PO said, oh, yeah. There he is, looking concerned. Pooh and Piglet started to go home, and they saw Princess Leia right there, and she told them to keep up hope. There she is. And Pooh and Piglet waited for Rabbit, and they waited and waited and waited, but Rabbit did not come back. And at last Pooh took Piglet's hand. Let's follow my tummy. Whenever I get hungry for honey, my tummy leads me home. And they did keep up hope, and they found their way home. And Tigger was so glad. And they look happy. Pooh told Tigger that Rabbit was lost. Luke said that he knew it was no fun being lost because, he had been there on Hoth. Meanwhile, Rabbit was lost in the woods and feeling a bit scared. And every time he looked around, he thought he saw someone watching him. And he heard all sorts of scary sounds. There he is looking all scared. Peck, peck, croak, hiss, hoot, chomp. Rabbit heard many strange sounds, including pecking birds, croaking toads, and the heavily breathing Darth Vader, which would, scare anyone. But then Tigger bounced right into Rabbit about when Han was about to say Han would have found him, and then Han said, "Let's get out of here!" And Tigger led Rabbit home, and they were all very happy. And Han was out looking for him as well. And there he is, and he found him too. But Tigger was quicker because he bounces. Princess Leia was visiting Kanga, and Tigger walked up and asked if Rue could play. And there they are having a nice visit because they're friendly. And Rue asked Tigger if he could climb trees, and Tigger said that of course he could. And Tigger found a tall tree, and he bounced to the top. He bounced and bounced and bounced, and Rue was very excited, and they bounced higher. Ooh, Tigger! And he was very happy at the bouncing. And Tigger bounced so high that he went even higher than R2-D2, who happened to be flying around that very tree right then, because, R2 has his little jets and can fly about. When Tigger looked down, he was way high up with Rue, and they were very scared, especially when Tigger pointed out that he didn't really know how to climb down. "Hooray!" squealed Rue. "We'll stay here forever," who apparently, liked being in trees. And then C-3PO said, "Master Tigger, why don't I go find someone to help you get down?" And then Pooh said, "Why don't we go get Christopher Robin?" And there they are. And, they're both trying to be helpful. When Pooh and Piglet came up the tree, they saw Master Yoda, and he said that he could get them down, but they decided to go get Christopher Robin, and there's Yoda, and he was going to levitate up and grab them, but, they were a little iffy about that. And Christopher Robin came along and took off his coat because he was hot, and Obi-Wan suggested they use it to catch his friends. And so there he is taking off his coat, and Obi-Wan says, "Oh, why don't we get your coat?" And so they did. And they gathered around, and all of them, Christopher Robin, Rabbit, Piglet, Winnie the Pooh, Kanga, and Han Solo, gathered around to help Rue get out of that tree. And then they took a look down, and Luke said, "Could you help me?" And Luke said, "Sure." And then he jumped down, and everyone fell down, and Tigger was so happy that he bounced away. And there's Luke telling him that he can help him down. And then he jumps down too. And Rabbit said, "Tigger, look at my hand. You don't see Darth Vader jumping around." And there's Darth Vader, and he's certainly not jumping. And Tigger began to walk slowly away right past Darth Vader. "Oh no, I'm sad." And Rue was unhappy that Tigger was unhappy, which made Rabbit unhappy, and so now they're all looking unhappy. And Darth Vader always looks rather cross, so no change there. And, well, my friend Yoda wants us to dance it together. And there's Yoda, and he's always, about the dancing. And so he says, "Why don't we dance?" And so there they are dancing. And Yoda says, "Oh, that's nice." And then Tigger and R2 bounced off together, because nothing like R2 likes better than a good bounce. And the end. And there they all are. There's Pooh and Yoda and Leia and Rabbit and Piglet and Han and Kanga and Rue. And there's R2 and Darth. And there's Christopher Robin swinging right near Anakin. And there's Luke and Tigger and C-3PO. And, of course, Chewie. Obi-Wan. And there we are right there. And happy Winnie the Pooh and Star Wars 2.